now, you heard my public service announcement to grab a couple stand-in yoga blocks if you don't have actual blocks, and a belt or strap of some sort. So we'll keep the strap or towel within arm's reach. Find a comfortable seat. So if you're not already there, take a seat. That comfortable seat is open to interpretation. I cross my legs in Sukhasana, but maybe it's more comfortable for you to leave the legs extended, or maybe one, in which case you can alternate. So please find your comfortable seat, maybe rocking side to side, maybe just shaking it off. I feel like I need to do that. And whenever you feel ready for it, take a deep breath just like that. Do that as many times as you want. An added benefit of this home practice is maybe you can really sigh it out more than you might feel comfortable in a yoga studio. Sometimes the opposite's true. Sometimes it's in our studio space when we can let loose. So just notice. Notice if you feel comfortable or not so much. You can just nod to what you notice and then let it go. So that's a lot of the theme of our practice this evening. It's noticing and then letting go. Attempting to cultivate an observer's mind. Just observing the way we feel, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Just noticing. And without attempting to change anything at all, just let it be. If it's comfortable, then you can close your eyes softly now if they're not already. I feel like closing my eyes gives me a superpower, because when my vision, when my sight is gone, my other senses kind of spike on high alert. So with your eyes closed, just notice what you can hear. Open that awareness up, noticing what you can hear outside of the four walls you're within. See if you can notice anything out there. Let's draw that awareness a little closer now, noticing the sounds within your home or your space. Pull that awareness in even closer, noticing if you can hear the sound of your inhale and your exhale. Staying with that, noticing your inhale, noticing your exhale, continuing to breathe slow, full breaths. Imagine the length of your spine, almost like a puppeteer, like you're a marionette and a puppeteer is holding the string above you. So you're lifting out of the crown of your head, sitting very tall, but still relaxed in your seat. You can imagine pushing down or anchoring down through the parts of your body connected to the mat. I like to visualize roots growing from the base of my spine, slowly growing down, cracking the surface of the floor. The roots slowly go down deeper, deeper, deeper. These dark red colored roots anchoring down into the center of the earth. And all the while, I still have that buoyant lift, lengthening my spine. I'm still noticing my breath. And as you notice your breath, notice where in the body you experience the breath. Are you noticing that breath in the top anterior front part of the chest? Can you notice the breath in the lower parts of the lungs? Can you notice the breath expanding the backside of the body as well? As you notice the breath, even if you don't feel it, just imagine the breath expanding three-dimensionally. So your next inhale spills in through the nostrils and travels all the way through your lungs, expanding in every direction to the front and back and sides, everywhere in between. And when you must exhale, do so as slowly as you can, letting the breath float out of the body. And slowly inhale, expanding in all directions. And when you're ready, exhale slowly. Continue this full, slow breath. You can go at your own pace, or you can follow my cues. Sitting up nice and tall, shoulders stacked over hips, crown of head reaching tall. Inhale through the nostrils for a count of 4, 3, 2, pause, and that full inhale. Sip in a little more breath. Draw in a little more, the fullest breath of your day maybe. And slowly let that breath spill out, exhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, pause in that emptiness. Gently engage the abdominal muscles, navel back towards spine, up towards heart. Spill the breath in through the nostrils, inhaling for a count of 4, 3, 2, pause. Draw in more breath, even more if you can. This time, as you exhale, pour the breath out from the top of the chest to the middle, to the bottom, drawing the navel back towards the spine, up towards the heart, bringing that breath out of the lungs. Slowly inhale, drawing the breath in through the nostrils, and imagine it filling up this low basin of the belly. And the breath rises, the middle of the chest. Finally, the breath lifts up, spreading the collarbones, the chest opens wide. Inhale, hold, exhale, pour the breath out, just like you're emptying a glass of water from the top to the middle, to the bottom, gently engaging those abdominal muscles, supporting that lengthened spine. Slowly begin to inhale again. I'll let you go at your own pace, allowing the inhale to come slowly. pausing at the top of that full breath. Then slowly, even more slowly, exhaling the breath out. Let the exhale be longer than the inhale. Stay with that very full, slow cycle of breath for a few more rounds. If your mind has started to wander, it's what minds do, just draw it back, giving the attention to your inhale and your exhale. Stay with this breath one more moment or two. As you complete the cycle of breath that you're on, you can return to a natural, slow breath. Still sitting tall, eyes closed if it's comfortable. And observe. Trusting that even these moments of stillness or emptiness are valuable. If you'd like to set an intention, a sankalpa, or a dedication for your practice this evening, you may do so. And I like to use my intention, just as I use the breath, as an anchor, something to return to throughout practice. When I catch my mind going off, I draw it back, either to my sankalpa, my intention, or to my breath. And as you set your intention, something to contemplate might be the tone that you'd like to set for yourself while we kind of go into these uncharted waters, being encouraged to stay home as much as possible. I believe that we create our own reality through our perception, through our judgments of things, through our choices and what lens we'd like to look through. So I will intend for this coming week to remain grounded, to return to my mat frequently for practice. And in the spirit of stating intentions as if they are already so, we'll say, I am grounded. I practice yoga. I breathe deep. So whatever your intention is, if you haven't already, put it into present terms. Speak it as if it is so. Drawing the hands together at heart center, hold that intention in your mind's eye. We'll officially kick off this physical asana practice by sharing a round of hOMe. We'll start with one round, we'll close our practice with 3. Inhaling deeply. Exhale, let the breath go. Inhaling for 1 hOMe. You can keep your eyes softly closed if that's comfortable, or blink the eyes open. As we inhale, we'll slowly, slowly draw those arms out wide, up overhead. Exhale, keeping the spine and the heart lifted, draw the hands slowly through the midline. Inhaling, arms out and up, feel your wingspan. Exhale, drawing it down. Inhaling slowly up. Exhale, take a twist to your left. Then lower the hands down. As we sit here, the crown of the head still reaches up. On your exhales, you might soften into the twist, deepening the twist, looking over your left shoulder. On your inhale, you might notice the body untwisting as you expand with breath. And maybe you deepen the twist on the exhale. Another full cycle of breath here. On an inhale, pass back through center, arms extended out. Long, tall spine. Exhale, taking the twist over to your right, then lower the hands down. Inhale, creating space. Exhale, letting go. Noticing if you're holding tension that you can let go of anywhere in the body, maybe in your jaw, maybe in your hands. Inhale, pass back through center. Slowly pull those arms out and up. Flex the feet and ankles. Exhale, bring the hands down to the earth while you lean forward. So before we come right into a forward fold like we often do, let's explore this fold, keeping the spine long and the heart lifted. This would be a nice opportunity if you have blocks or those toilet paper rolls to put something under your hands. Another full inhale here. And as you exhale, draw the navel back towards the spine, chin towards chest, rounding the spine, making your way into a comfortable seated forward fold here. Noticing which leg is folded in front, and then trace the awareness back to that gluteal muscle, or those gluteal muscles, that side of the low back. You might sway slowly side to side, breathing wherever you go with it. If you notice an area of tension, imagine sending the breath there like a balloon, expanding out, creating space. And then when you exhale, imagine the tension leaving with the breath. Staying in the seated forward fold, another full inhale. Full exhale. On an inhale, slowly walk the hands back towards the body, sitting up nice and tall. My regulars know what's coming, working into our core a bit. Bring the hands back behind you. And go ahead and lengthen the legs out, give those hips and knees a break. Hands planted behind you, draw the elbows towards each other, shoulders slide together and down. Chest is lifted. Push the hands into the earth. So feeling nice and light, lifted in the spine. Hug those abdominal muscles in. Begin to walk the feet towards the body. Maybe lifting one, maybe both legs, starting with shins parallel. Really firing up our core muscles here. You are welcome to stay right here. You can also explore lifting one, maybe both arms off the mat, firing up the core muscles, maybe straightening one, maybe both legs. Breathing wherever you go. If you notice that you really want to do this, but you round the spine to get there, just back it up. Our body will make compromises to make our egos happy and get us into the full pose. but it would be better to build this structural integrity, strengthening the core. That way someday we can do a full boat pose. So breathing in your modified or full Navasana boat pose. Keep reaching the crown of the head up. Keep engaging the core muscles. Let's set our hands down and come into some bicycle legs. Core on fire. Breathing here. I mentioned last week, but when we have a strong core, we have a tendency to posture a little bit more straight, stand up more straight, and that makes me feel more confident, at least. Reversing the direction of your bicycle pedals, breathing. And when you've had enough, return to an easy seat, crossed legs, bringing the opposite leg in front this time. Grabbing the strap or towel, whatever you are using today. And if you don't have anything, that's okay. Just mimic the motions the best you can. Pulling your prop out in front of you. There we go. Prop in front of you, sitting up nice and tall, shoulders over hips. Might feel like you're leaning back in space to get there. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, bring them back behind you. Since this isn't a strap, usually I would lengthen my arms out wider, so I'm just going to put a bend in my elbows. We make do. On your next inhale, reach the arms back up overhead. Exhale, bringing the hands to the front. Move at your own pace here, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling up. If you see me smiling really big, it's because my cat is getting really close. Are you gonna come? Inhaling up. Exhaling back. Inhale up. Exhale back. I said to go at your own pace. If you find a sweet spot, by all means, please pause and breathe into it. On your next inhale up and exhale down, we can set our makeshift strap off to the side. A few wrist warm-ups, clasp your hands, draw some figure eights. Wrist warm-up, also brain exercise if you ask me. Drawing some figure eights, still maintaining the full intentional breath. Noticing where your mind wanders. I should really be doing the dishes right now. Nope, stay right here. Switching the directions of your figure eights. Our wrists carry us through a lot of our yoga practice. Setting the hands down to your side, roll the shoulders back towards each other and down. Inhale the right arm up overhead, taking a lateral spinal flexion. We'll always try to move our spine every direction it likes to go. So as you breathe in this lateral spinal flexion, anchor down through your right hip. Relax that right shoulder away from the ear. If your neck prefers it, you can look down towards your left hand. You can look straight in front, awkwardly smiling at the Facebook camera, or you can look up to the sky. Might even feel good to imagine you're pressing the mat away. So we're exaggerating this arch in our spine. One more inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, coming up through center. Exhale, taking this lateral spinal flexion to the other side. Anchoring down now through the left hip. Breathing. We have a Toby. Another full cycle of breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come back up to center. Flex the feet and ankles, fold forward. Again, if you'd like, you can pause here with a straight spine, just leaning forward. Or if you prefer, you can go right for that melting forward fold, drawing the chin towards the chest, rounding the spine. Engage the abdominal muscles. That'll help kind of evenly round the spine through the low back to the mid and top. Keeping a little flexion or action in your feet and ankles. This helps engage the muscles of the lower leg, which helps protect our knees. And you might explore swaying side to side, just noticing how the body feels here. On an inhale, slowly walk the hands back towards the body, sitting up nice and tall. Now, whichever leg is in front, pick it up. Sometimes you see people kind of rocking the baby here. This is an excellent hip opener. Don't worry if you're not getting here today. Maybe just picking it up and noticing where you are is what you're going to do. Maybe you can draw that, let's see, whichever foot is in front towards the opposite shoulder. Maybe you can kind of nook it, put it in the nook of your elbow. Maybe even clasping hands. If you get there, then a slow rock side to side, but you don't have to go the whole way to enjoy the benefit of this hip opener. Just rocking the legs side to side while we continue to sit up tall and breathe. 2 more full cycles of breath, inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely. Inhaling again, keeping that foot flexed. Exhaling, releasing that leg, bringing the other leg up. Again, maybe we keep the foot closer to the ground, keeping the foot flexed, maybe rocking side to side if that feels good to you. Maybe you are able to draw the foot into the nook of the elbow. Imagining that you're kicking the foot into the arm can help us work into these muscles. Breathing deeply wherever you go with it. Just noticing where you are. Two more full breaths wherever you are. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. And exhale, letting it go. Extend the legs out long in front of you. Dandasana, staff pose. So the legs are active. Here's where if you have a toilet paper roll or a block, you can squeeze the block between the thighs. Hands by your hips. Let's inhale, lift the shoulders up. Exhale, roll your shoulders back and down. So our heart is lifted. Our shoulder blades are sliding together and down. Crown of head reaching up like a string is pulling up through our spine. Ears over shoulders, over hips. Now press the hands into the mat. See if you can get any air there. I'm not there yet. Let me know in the comments after class if you are getting air here. Even just the act of pressing down will engage our latissimus dorsi muscle, which we'll be using a lot in downward facing dog here in just a moment. So give it another try or two, loving yourself wherever you are. And then releasing, settling in for Dandasana, staff pose for just a few breaths. Now, I did say you can squeeze the block between the thighs, but I should also say, let your knees bend if they're wanting to bend. We haven't warmed up our hamstrings yet. And you can't have a straight spine if you've got tight hamstrings and straight legs. Something's got to give. Our body is a pulley system of muscles. So allowing a bend in the knees, not a big deal. If you have a blanket or a pillow here, you can sit on that, give you a little lift, just on the very edge, just the sits bones. Allowing those knees to lift if they want to, staying active through the legs. The feet are acting like they're pressing up against a wall. Breathing here. And slowly starting to walk the hands forward, but let's see how long we can keep the spine long here. Moving very slowly. Every exhale, maybe you walk it forward a little more. Just noticing. Our body under the skin is covered in this sheath of connective tissue. My students always hear me talk about fascia. Fascia likes to be hydrated and it likes to be slowly stretched. It runs through all of our organs and our muscles. It's amazing. And it's also, unfortunately, where we hold a lot of our tension and trauma. And moving slowly will not only help relax our nervous system, it will also help us work into these deeper tissues. Inhaling full breaths. Exhale, maybe walking the hands further down the legs. Maybe putting a really generous bend in the legs. Maybe you're really craving just to round the spine and hang forward. Do whatever works for you in this forward fold, giving some attention to the hamstrings, the backs of the upper legs. Another full inhale and complete exhale. All right, so notice how the body is here, because we'll be in the same position essentially, but on its side. One of my teachers, Diane, blew my mind when she demonstrated that this seated forward fold is a lot like our standing forward fold. It's the same thing. So we'll check in with that here in just a moment. Walk the hands back up, nice and tall. Maybe give those legs a little massage. We sat for a long time with our legs crossed, knees in flexion. All right, swinging the legs around, moving into the next portion. So coming on to hands and knees. If you already have a practice, please feel free to begin your cat-cow and any other movement that feels good. I usually say at the beginning of class, but this is your practice. So please take anything I say as a kind suggestion and know that you can do whatever feels good to you. So in cat-cow, our knees are under our hips, our wrists are under our shoulders. If you know you have sensitive wrists, you can walk the hands forward a couple of inches. On our inhales, the belly drops, shoulder blades slide together, heart pulls forward, gaze lifts as we open up our throat. Exhale, chin to chest, round the spine, shoulder blades slide apart, navel towards spine, tailbone anchoring down. Inhale, undoing all that, belly drops, gaze lifts. Exhale like you're pushing the earth away, rounding the spine. Keep going at your own pace. As you're breathing, moving through cat-cow in this tabletop position, think about your hands. These are your foundation. So how are you treating them? Are you dumping all of the weight into the wrists like I tend to do? If so, let's make sure that we are sending the weight, the attention into the fingertips, and especially this L here, the root of the index finger, the root of the thumb. When you press into those inner parts of the hand, you might even see the wrists lift off of the mat a bit, and that's what we're looking for. We want to have a long yoga life, and to do that, we want to take great care of our wrists. So fingers spread just as wide as you can get them, then bring the thumbs in at least halfway, anchor in through the fingertips and through the base of the index and thumb. really rooting down there. Earlier, I imagined that red root coming out of my spine. Now I can imagine it coming out of the tops of my feet, my knees, my hands. Another cycle or two of breath. Maybe on your exhale, push back through child's pose. Inhale forward. Maybe drawing some circles with the heart, with the hips. Thinking about these 4 ball and joint sockets. How cool it is that they move like this. Switching directions if you did draw circles. Feeling the weight move around the hands as you do this. Seeing if even while the weight moves around the hands, if you can stay anchored through those key points that we talked about. Enjoy another breath or two through cat-cow or any movement that feels good here. And when you're ready, we'll meet in child's pose. I like child's pose with my big toes together, my knees as wide as the mat, sinking my hips as close to my heels as I can get them, and arms outstretched. Some people prefer to do this posture with the knees together. You might get a deeper back opening when you do that. You can also relax the arms down by your side, giving your shoulders a little break. So taking a few breaths in child's pose. In child's pose, if the arms are down by your side, re-extend them overhead. Inhale, come up to tabletop, tuck the toes, lift the legs, coming into plank pose. In plank pose, we're pushing the earth away. One long line of energy here as the abdominal muscles hug in, spine is long, energy pushing through the heels, through the crown of the head. Inhale, exhale, inhale. Exhale, lift the hips, coming into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Now in this first round together this evening, let's all bend our knees really generously. Bend the knees so much that maybe the belly even reaches the thighs. You can move the hips, bend one knee and then the other, walk the dog, and then settle in for a couple breaths of stillness in downward facing dog. As you breathe full, slow cycles of breath in downward dog, check in with your foundation again. So your hands spread nice and wide from the fingers, thumbs in about halfway, anchoring down through the fingertips and especially the root of the index finger and thumb. The shoulders are sliding away from the ears, the head's hanging nice and free and relaxed, no tension in the neck here. The abdominal muscles are hugging in towards the spine. The hips are reaching right up towards the sky. That's why I encourage that bend in the knees. Feet are hips width apart, or I even like wider sometimes. One more inhale here. Exhale, look forward between the hands. Big inhale, exhale, walk the feet towards the top of the mat, coming into Uttanasana, forward fold. Some people like to clasp opposite elbows here. Other folks like to clasp the hands behind the back, reaching them up towards the sky. Maybe you like to sway side to side. So I encourage you to play in forward fold, finding what feels good to you today. And noticing that this is essentially the same posture we were just in when we were seated and folded forward. Noticing how it feels different now that we have our friend gravity on our back. Rock back on the heels and forward on the toes. Noticing how the weight distributes in your feet. And right now, while we have a bird's eye view of our feet, let's make sure that they are at least hips width apart. The second and third toe are centered with the middle of the heel. It might feel a little pigeon-toed at first. Then imagine, this week let's do a triangle. There's a triangle around your feet from the base of the big toe, the base of the pinky, to the center of the heel. Imagine that you can push into just those 3 points. And when you do, you might even see the arch of your foot lift. We're light on our toes. We're not gripping the mat with our toes. On an inhale, press into those 3 points on each foot, lifting up halfway. Long spine. The neck is long as we look straight down. Abdominal muscles are hugging in. On your next exhale, fold forward. It's always okay to put a bend in the knees here. On an inhale, slowly lift all the way up, arms out, stretched. Feel your wingspan all the way to the top. Exhale, hands to heart center and down by your side. So at the beginning, I suggested if you don't have a block to grab Tupperware or a toilet paper roll. I will grab my TP roll. This is a sign of the times. And let's squeeze whatever prop you've got between your upper thighs. Squeezing that prop helps us understand isometric muscle contraction. So it's this action of all of the muscles hugging into the bones. We want that muscular engagement, that integrity. So squeezing the prop between the thighs if you chose to grab a prop. Our thighs are working towards each other, but imagine that your feet are trying to pull that mat in half down the middle. Super muscular engagement here. And we're dropping or anchoring our tailbone down into the earth while we're toning in our low abdominal muscles. So that tailbone's anchoring down. It might even feel like the hips are pressing forward a little. Long through the torso, long through the spine. Inhale the shoulders up the ears. Exhale, roll your shoulders back and down. Crown of the head is reaching up towards the sky. I imagine energy like shooting out of my fingertips and my feet here. Oh my God, I just got a vision of like Beast in Beauty and the Beast when he, so that. We want that much energy coursing through us. It's always there. We just want to pay attention to it. So lots of integrity in this posture. Squeezing that block between the thighs, keeping the core muscles super hugged in here. Inhale, sweeping those arms out and up. Exhale, take a forward fold. You can still bend your knees with the prop between the legs. Inhale, lift up halfway, flat back, long neck, looking straight down. Exhale, engaging the core, folding forward. Inhale, pressing into those points on the feet to rise all the way up, arms outstretched. Exhaling, hands to heart center and down by your side. Settling back in. Build that integrity, that structure from the ground up. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lift halfway, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root down through the feet, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to the midline and by your side. Once more, inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, root down to rise all the way up, arms outstretched. Exhale, hands to the midline and down. Releasing the prop from your thighs. If you do have props, I would put the 2 of them towards the top of the mat so they're there for us when we do our lunges. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, imagine you're still squeezing that block or that toilet paper roll as you fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale all the way up. One more time. Exhaling, hands to the midline. Inhale, arms outstretched. Exhale, diving forward. Plant the hands. Step the left foot back in space. Lower the left knee, untuck the toes. Make sure that your right ankle is under the right knee. Now imagine that you're dragging that left knee towards the right heel. Another thing that might work for you is imagine dragging the left hip forward and the right hip back. So we're squaring our hips here. Breathing, maybe coming to fingertips, maybe props. Maybe you want to press into that right heel, lifting the torso so that shoulders are over hips. Breathing here. Maybe inhale, lifting the arms up overhead. Maybe you softly close the eyes here. Breathing in to the whole body, especially to that left hip flexor, that left front hip. And finding your expression. If this doesn't work for you today, maybe this is where you stay. No right, no wrong, just observing. Wherever you are, see if you can lengthen the spine. Notice your breath. One more full inhale wherever you are. Exhale, bring the hands down to the mat. Tuck the left toes, lengthen that left leg. So lifting the left knee off of the mat, if you can see. Roll the shoulders back, looking for length in the spine. Again, here's an option to use something under the hands. See if you can re-square the hips, so dragging the right hip back in space, left hip forward. Breathe, breathe, breathe. One more inhale, imagining someone like a string coming from the back of your knee up to the sky. Plant the hands as you exhale, stepping back into plank pose. Option here to lower the knees. Also an option to come into child's pose and breathe for a few moments. If you're hanging with me in plank, let's imagine that we're still standing in mountain pose. Imagine that you're still squeezing that block between the upper thighs so the legs are super engaged. Your core muscles are engaged. Your shoulders are relaxed, down away from the ears, like we're pushing the earth away too. So if you feel like you're slouching into it, push away. Like the top of a push-up here. One more inhale. Exhale, lower the knees down, untuck the toes, bend at the elbows, exhaling all the way down. Breathe naturally for a moment while we make adjustments. Imagine pressing all 10 toenails into the mat or the earth. Relax your gluteal muscles. Plant the hands very lightly near the shoulders or the breasts. As you inhale, lift the heart. Keep the back of the neck long, so probably looking down or just a few inches in front of you. Make the upper back work for this, so the glutes are relaxed. Another full inhale, and as you exhale, lower down, bring the forehead or one cheek to the mat. Maybe shake the hips out to release any tension that's snuck in there. Inhale, lifting the heart. Exhale, lower down. All right, bring the forehead to the mat. Inhale deeply. Tuck the toes under. Exhale completely, and when there's no breath in your body, push up through plank. Lift the hips up. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Settling in here to downward dog. Take your time, breathing with it. As you start to settle in, check in. Make sure the hands are at least shoulder width apart. Feet are at least hip width apart. Anchoring in through our fingertips, through the roots of our index and thumb. Shoulders relaxing down away from the ears, head hangs nice and heavy, looking back towards the belly or the thighs. Spine is long, long, long as the abdominal muscles hug into the midline, helping kind of squeeze some more length out of you. Tailbone's reaching towards the sky. Don't worry if the knees are bent. Yes, downward facing dog is all about lengthening the spine, not about straightening the legs. On an inhale, bring that left leg up to the sky. Maybe draw some circles with the toes or the knee even. Inhaling, three-legged dog. Exhale, look forward. Bring the knee to nose, coming into plank, pushing the earth away, rounding the upper spine. Inhale, re-extend the left leg. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, left knee to right elbow. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, knee to nose, hover. And then we'll set that left foot down, whatever it takes to get there. Lowering the right knee down, untucking the right toes. Left ankle is under the left knee. Settling in here, so lengthening through the spine. Maybe bringing some props in for that. Leveling out our hips here. So imagining that you're dragging the right knee towards the left heel. Gives you that isometric muscle contraction, that lift in the pelvic floor. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you press into the left heel, anchoring down through that part of the body as you reach the torso up. Shoulders over hips. Maybe you inhale, arms up overhead. Breathing here. Wherever you go, breathe. Giving some attention, awareness to that right hip. Maybe closing the eyes, firing up your proprioception, that knowledge of where you are in space. Another big inhale. Exhale, bringing the hands down to frame the left foot. Tuck the right toes, lift that right knee, pushing back through the heel. Drag the left hip back in space, right hip towards the front, so squaring off the hips more. Still looking to lengthen the spine, so you'll see me rolling my shoulders back to help that. Hugging in the abdominal muscles. Full inhale. Complete exhale. If you've got props, feel free to put your hands on those. As we inhale, taking a giant step forward, kicking that right leg up in the sky for our standing splits. And with an exhale, setting that right foot down. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rising all the way up midline. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, taking that dive forward, hands touch down, right foot steps back, staying on the ball of the toe, making sure the left knee is over the left ankle. We'll inhale, rising up tall, Anjaneyasana. So if a bend comes into that right knee, allow it, that's okay. We're working on opening the body. It doesn't have to be open today. We're opening it. Attempting to stack shoulders over hips, attempting to keep hips squared. So in this case, the front. So if I put my hands on my hips and take them off, I match the top of the mat, whereas my tight hips want to open up this way, not so much. Okay. Squaring the hips, dropping that tailbone, anchoring that tailbone down into the earth while we tone our low abdominal muscles. Arms are up overhead. If your shoulders feel really tired and tight from doing this, open them up more. So I watch a lot of yoga with Adrienne on YouTube, and she always says, imagine you're holding a giant beach ball, and that works really well for me. opening my arms up. It also just makes me feel happy. So, like I'm receiving good stuff. One more inhale. Exhale, bring the hands down to the earth. You have the option of going straight into downward dog, into child's pose, or to come with me, in which case we plant our hands, stepping back into plank pose. Inhaling, exhaling. Long line of energy, feel strong here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, tip forward on your tippy toes. Like look, your shoulders are really moving forward. Exhale, bend at the elbows, just lower down halfway. Untuck the toes. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the gaze. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Breathing here. As you breathe and settle in to 3 to 5 full slow breaths of downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. I'm trying to mention with every class I offer now. One of my yoga teachers when I lived in Chicago, I believe, said, we're all tourists here in yoga in America. So I try to incorporate some Sanskrit when I teach. That is the language of yoga. It's an ancient, I think one of the most ancient languages. With honoring the ancient heritage of yoga, I feel like it's just fair to say this is our Western American interpretation. Breathing in your downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Another full inhale. Complete exhale. Inhale, bring that right foot towards the sky. Maybe you draw circles with your toes and ankles, maybe with the knee opening up that hip more. Inhale, extending that right leg towards the sky. Exhale, coming forward into plank, rounding the spine as you push the earth away, right knee towards the nose. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, right knee towards the right elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, right knee towards the left elbow. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, knee to nose, hover, hover, hover. And set that right foot down. Do whatever it takes to get it there. Right ankle lands under the right knee. On the ball of the left foot, lengthen the spine. Inhale, pressing into the right heel, the right foot as we rise up, Anjaneyasana. Shoulders stacked relatively over hips. Breathing. Anyone else get warm? Still thinking of squaring the hips as we settle in for a few more cycles of breath here. So drawing that left hip towards the front, right hip towards the back, bending into the left, the right knee, maybe into the left as well. Full inhale, complete exhale. Inhale, reach, reach, reach. Exhale, hands touch down, maybe onto props if you have them. On an inhale, take a giant step forward, coming into our forward fold, left foot towards the sky. Standing splits. Inhale deeply, and as you exhale, set the left foot down. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, lifting up halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rooting down to rise up. And exhale, hands at heart center. Okay. Reestablishing a strong Tadasana mountain pose. Imagining that you're still squeezing something between those upper thighs as you kind of pull the mat in half with the feet. So we've got muscular engagement happening throughout the whole body. Very active here. Begin to shift the weight onto your right leg. Shifting the weight down, keeping that tailbone anchored into the earth, abdominal muscles hugging in. Shifting the weight. You can imagine that both feet are anchored into the earth, and then we uproot the left foot. So you might keep the left toes on the ground, perfectly fine. I'm going to have my hands on my hips for a little extra stability, helping me keep my hips level as well. So if you're feeling really strong and anchored through that right standing leg, maybe you lift that left knee a little more. Anchoring down through your right standing leg, squeezing your gluteal muscles on the right side in. Imagine everything hugging in towards the midline. Maybe this is more than enough. Maybe you'd like to extend that left leg out. Keeping the hips level. Feeling strong and powerful through both legs. Putting a bend back in that left knee. Beginning to shift forward, exploring Warrior 3, kicking the left foot back. Attempting to keep both hips level. Lowering down, maybe utilizing props that are nearby. Maybe releasing the arms by your side, or in front, or off to the side. Some days balance just doesn't come. Keep breathing, whatever happens. And on an inhale, begin to lift the torso back up, returning upright. Hug that left knee in towards the center and lower the left leg down. Whew. Give a little shake to the right leg. All right, reestablishing that intentional Tadasana mountain pose. Feeling strong here. Feet are anchored down, roots growing out of the feet. Start to shift the weight onto the left leg, firing up those left gluteal muscles, uprooting that right foot. And the right toes might stay on the earth. Maybe they lift up, taking flight. Staying anchored through our tailbone, our abdominal muscles hugging in. Everything cinches in towards the midline. Maybe we lift that right knee higher. Staying nice and tall here. Pressing into those 3 points on the foot. Maybe you extend that right leg out straight in front of you. Breathing. Maybe we bend that right knee and start to kick the right leg back, tilting forward into Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Breathing, breathing wherever you go. Just exploring. One more full cycle of breath. On an inhale, begin to lift the torso. Maybe we can pull that right knee up and in before we set it down with as much control as we can. Giving a little shake to the standing leg. All right. Making our way back to the mat. If there are any props you'd like to use for Shavasana, please grab them. Fabulous fuzzy pillow I'm going to use today. Alright. So as you make your way back to your mat, last call for core work. You're welcome to just roll down, or you can take this opportunity to wake up those core muscles one more time. Slowly, slowly, slowly rolling down. If you do have a blanket or a pillow next to you, feel free to use that as we come into some reclined spinal twists for just a moment. Let's first kick our feet up in the air. So legs up the wall, this posture has numerous benefits, just this. I mean, if you can imagine kicking your feet up against a wall so you really don't have to work. This is great. give your legs the opposite experience of gravity than what they usually get. Especially, you know, a lot of my friends are restaurant industry folks and they're on their feet all the time. So this can be really comforting to the body as well as to the central nervous system. All right, here's where if you have a blanket or a giant pillow, you can, or a small pillow would work too. Putting it between the legs, bending at the knees, arms coming out to a crisscross. Inhale deeply, exhale, bring the knees down to one side. I guess it's not really crisscross. Arms out to a T. Anchor down through the shoulders. Full inhale and complete exhale. When you're ready, we'll inhale, exhale, everything draws into the center. Inhale and exhale to the other side. Full breaths. A full inhale and exhale. Everything draws into the center. And set yourself up for Shavasana. So if you have a prop you'd like under your knees, for example, this is my favorite way to be. However you land, make sure nothing's in your way. So right now my foot's bumping a prop, my hand's bumping a prop. Get all those out of the way. Take up some space. And as you settle in, feeling empowered to do whatever you want to do to get comfortable, as you start to settle in, allow the body just to flop open. Let your feet and ankles flop out. Let the palms be face up, as long as that works for your shoulders. Maybe just one more time, let's walk those shoulders together and down. Maybe just one more time, lengthen that crown of the head, up, up, out of the spine. And please savor these final moments of practice. Yoga is an 8-limbed path, and these asana, the physical practice, it's just one of the 8 limbs, preparing the body for meditation and the mind. Settling in. With every inhale, the body continues to expand in every direction. And with every exhale, you soften, deepening into the mat. As you notice thoughts, let them drift by. Return to your breath. Moving slowly, begin to invite movement back into the body, wiggling the fingers and the toes. It might feel nice here to take a full body stretch, reaching the arms up overhead, reaching the legs long. Take your time, return to an easy, comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. Let's sit together for just a moment in observation. Noticing the sounds around you. Noticing the temperature of your breath as it enters the body and leaves the body. Noticing the feeling of the fabric on your skin. We'll close practice by sharing 3 rounds of hOMe. As always, you're welcome to chant with me or to simply enjoy the vibration of sound. They both have benefits. Bring the hands together in heart center. Gently press the palms and the fingers together. You might even press the thumbs into the sternum so you can feel the vibration that you create. hOMe is said to be the sound of all sounds. It has 4 parts: ah, o, and silence. Inhale deeply. Exhale, let the breath go. Inhale for 3 hOMes. and lift the hands to the forehead space for kind and loving thoughts. Lower the hands to the heart space for kind and loving intentions. And lift the hands to the throat space for kind and loving communication. Namaste is used as a greeting in India, but I do love how we in America use it to close our practice. So my understanding of Namaste is that the light and divinity inside of me recognizes that same light in each of you, in all living beings everywhere. Thank you for sharing a practice with me this evening. Namaste. Thank you so much for taking this time for yourself and sharing it with me and Sattvic Space. I encourage you to drink extra water today and always. Also, a reminder, as I mentioned at the beginning of class, Sattvic Space is a nonprofit, and while we are closed kind of indefinitely during this pandemic, any donations are appreciated, but please, no pressure at all. We want this to be available for the community. If you would like to donate, you can do so by visiting sattvicspaceyoga.com. You can send me a message if you need me to send that to you. And also, if you came to this live stream via my page, I think there's a donate button on there. Thank you so much. I hope you're all well.